Hey there, you're watching Book Demystified, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're diving into Your Playbook for Tough Times by Donna Freedman, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Imagine waking up one morning to find out your company is downsizing and your job is gone, or getting a phone call that a family medical emergency is going to cost thousands of dollars you don't have, or realizing that inflation has made your grocery budget completely inadequate for feeding your family. These scenarios aren't hypothetical for millions of Americans right now. Whether it's job loss, medical bills, divorce, economic recession, or just the crushing weight of rising costs on stagnant wages, tough times can hit anyone at any moment, and most of us are completely unprepared for the financial reality of crisis mode. But here's what's going to change everything for you. What if you had a comprehensive playbook that could help you not just survive financial hardship, but actually come out stronger on the other side? Donna Freedman has lived through her own devastating financial challenges and spent years researching and writing about personal finance. And she's created the ultimate survival guide for making every single dollar stretch when your back is against the wall. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete toolkit for weathering any financial storm with dignity, creativity, and maybe even some unexpected opportunities. Donna Freedman starts this book with brutal honesty about her own financial rock bottom. She found herself divorced, starting college in her 40s, living on food stamps and struggling to pay rent while juggling school, work, and single motherhood. But instead of just sharing a sob story, Freedman uses her experience to illustrate something crucial. Tough times don't have to be permanent, and the skills you develop during financial crisis can actually set you up for long-term prosperity. She learned to stretch every dollar so effectively that she was able to complete her college degree, build an emergency fund, and eventually achieve financial stability, all while starting from a place where she was counting pennies for bus fare. The first major concept Freedman introduces is what she calls crisis mode budgeting. This is completely different from normal budgeting because you're not planning for the future or trying to balance multiple financial goals. You're in survival mode, which means every financial decision is filtered through one simple question: is this absolutely necessary for my immediate survival and recovery? Freedman breaks down the hierarchy of needs during financial crisis. First priority is shelter. You need a roof over your head. Second priority is utilities that are essential for health and safety, like heat in winter and electricity for food storage. Third priority is transportation that you need to earn income. Fourth priority is food. Everything else, and she means everything else, becomes optional until you've stabilized your situation. Freedman shares a powerful strategy she calls the bare bones budgeting. When money is extremely tight, you strip your budget down to the absolute essentials and eliminate everything that isn't directly related to survival or income generation. This might mean canceling subscriptions, downgrading services, eliminating entertainment expenses, and making tough choices about things you normally consider necessities. But Freedman emphasizes that this isn't about permanent deprivation. It's about temporary focus. You're creating space in your budget to handle the crisis and get back on solid ground. Once you've stabilized, you can gradually add back the things that matter to you. Let me tell you about one of the most practical sections in the book, Freedman's Guide to Emergency Food Strategies. When your food budget gets slashed, you need to know how to eat nutritiously without spending much money. Freedman covers everything from shopping strategies like buying manager specials and clearance meat, to meal planning around the cheapest ingredients, to food preservation techniques that prevent waste. She also addresses food assistance programs and how to access them without shame. Her philosophy is simple: use every resource available to you during tough times so you can get back on your feet faster. Freedman introduces what she calls the side hustle emergency plan. When your primary income disappears or gets reduced, you need to replace that money quickly, and waiting for the perfect job isn't realistic. Freedman provides a comprehensive guide to generating income in crisis mode, including gig work, freelancing, selling possessions, and creating multiple small income streams. She's realistic about the fact that these emergency income sources might not be ideal long-term careers, but they can provide crucial cash flow while you're looking for more stable employment or dealing with other aspects of your prices.
One of the most valuable chapters deals with housing crisis management. Whether you're facing foreclosure, eviction, or just can't afford your current housing costs, Freedman provides step-by-step strategies for protecting your shelter. This includes negotiating with landlords and mortgage companies, understanding your legal rights, exploring assistance programs, and making strategic decisions about when it makes sense to downsize housing costs. She also covers alternative living arrangements like house sitting, caretaking, or temporary stays with family and friends, and how to maintain your dignity while accepting help from others. Freedman tackles the emotional side of financial crisis with a chapter on maintaining mental health during money troubles. Financial stress can trigger anxiety, depression, and relationship problems, which can make it even harder to make good decisions and take action to improve your situation. Freedman provides strategies for managing stress, maintaining perspective, and staying motivated when everything feels overwhelming. She emphasizes the importance of taking care of your physical and mental health, even when money is tight, because your health is your most important asset for recovery. The book includes a comprehensive guide to what Freedman calls resource maximization. This is about identifying and utilizing every possible resource available to you during tough times. Freedman covers government assistance programs, charity organizations, community resources, library services, free healthcare options, and other forms of help that many people don't know exist. She provides practical advice about how to apply for assistance programs, what documentation you'll need, and how to navigate bureaucratic systems. Her message is clear. This isn't about becoming dependent on assistance. It's about using available resources strategically while you rebuild your financial stability. Freedman addresses one of the most challenging aspects of financial crisis, dealing with debt during hardship. When you can barely afford basic living expenses, it's tempting to ignore debt payments altogether, but that can create bigger problems down the road. Freedman provides strategies for prioritizing debts, negotiating with creditors, exploring hardship programs, and protecting yourself from aggressive collection tactics. She also covers when it makes sense to consider bankruptcy and how to rebuild credit after a financial crisis. Let me share one of my favorite concepts from the book, creative problem solving for money problems. Freedman shows you how to think outside the box when traditional solutions aren't available. For example, if you can't afford car repairs, maybe you can barter services with a mechanic. If you can't afford new clothes for job interviews, maybe you can borrow or rent them. If you can't afford childcare, maybe you can trade babysitting with other parents. The key is being willing to consider unconventional solutions and ask for help in creative ways. Hey, if you're enjoying this and love free book summaries that respect your time and brain, there are a few simple ways to support us. You can hit that subscribe button, become a channel member, or grab the book via our link in the description. And if you're feeling generous, we've also added a PayPal and UPI tip link. Every bit of support helps us keep going. Freedman dedicates significant attention to income replacement strategies. Losing your primary income source is devastating, but Freedman shows you how to systematically approach income replacement. This includes immediate strategies like filing for unemployment benefits, activating your network for job leads, and starting emergency income generation. Medium-term strategies include job searching techniques, interviewing skills, and potentially retraining for different work. Long-term strategies include building multiple income streams and creating more financial security so future crises are less devastating. The book covers transportation solutions during financial crisis. If you can't afford car payments, insurance, or repairs, you need alternatives that don't prevent you from working or handling essential tasks. Freedman explores public transportation, carpooling, bike commuting, walking, and other low-cost transportation options. She also covers car-free living strategies and how to manage in areas without good public transit. The key is maintaining your ability to earn income and handle essential tasks without breaking your budget further. Freedman tackles health care during financial hardship. Medical expenses can be devastating during tough times, but you can't just ignore your health. Freedman covers free and low-cost health care options, prescription assistance programs, negotiating medical bills, and preventive care strategies that help you avoid expensive health problems. She emphasizes that taking care of your health isn't a luxury during financial crisis, it's essential for your ability to recover and rebuild.
One of the most practical sections deals with utility management and energy savings. When money is tight, utility bills can feel overwhelming, but Freedman shows you how to reduce these expenses significantly. This includes weatherization strategies, energy-saving techniques, negotiating payment plans with utility companies, and accessing assistance programs. She also covers extreme money-saving measures like heating only essential rooms in winter or using fans instead of air conditioning while maintaining safety and basic comfort. Freedman addresses communication and technology needs on a budget. In today's world, you need phone and internet access for job searching, managing finances, and staying connected. But these services can be expensive. Freedman covers low-cost communication options, free internet access, budget smartphone plans, and how to maintain essential connectivity without overspending. She recognizes that completely eliminating these services isn't realistic in modern life, but shows you how to minimize costs while maintaining functionality. The book includes strategies for clothing and personal care during tough times. You still need to look presentable for job interviews and work, but you can't afford to spend much money on clothing and personal care items. Freedman covers thrift shopping strategies, clothing maintenance and repair, free or low-cost haircuts, and DIY personal care solutions. She emphasizes that maintaining your appearance isn't vanity during financial crisis, it's part of your income-earning strategy. Freedman tackles one of the most emotionally difficult aspects of financial crisis, maintaining relationships during money troubles. Financial stress can strain marriages, friendships, and family relationships, especially when you need to ask for help or can't participate in expensive social activities. Freedman provides strategies for communicating about your financial situation, maintaining relationships without spending money, and accepting help gracefully while preserving your dignity. She also addresses when it's necessary to temporarily distance yourself from relationships that are financially toxic or unsupportive. Let me tell you about the psychology of scarcity versus abundance. When you're in crisis mode, it's easy to develop a scarcity mindset where you feel like there will never be enough money and you'll never recover from your situation. Freedman shows you how to maintain an abundance mindset, even during tough times, by focusing on the resources you do have, the skills you're developing, and the progress you're making. This isn't about positive thinking or denying reality. It's about maintaining the mental clarity and motivation you need to make good decisions and take effective action. Freedman addresses children and financial crisis. If you have kids, financial hardship affects the whole family, and kids can sense stress even when you try to hide it. Freedman provides age-appropriate strategies for talking to children about money troubles, maintaining family traditions on a tight budget, and helping children understand and adapt to temporary changes in lifestyle. She emphasizes that children are often more resilient and understanding than parents expect, and involving them appropriately in family financial challenges can actually teach valuable life skills. The book covers legal protection during financial hardship. When you're struggling financially, you're vulnerable to scams, predatory lending, and aggressive collection tactics. Freedman provides information about your legal rights, how to protect yourself from fraud, and when to seek legal assistance. She also covers important legal documents and protections you should have in place, even during tough times, to protect yourself and your family.
Freedman includes a comprehensive section on recovery and rebuilding. Crisis mode can't and shouldn't last forever, and Freedman provides strategies for transitioning from survival mode back to building mode. This includes rebuilding your emergency fund, reestablishing good credit, gradually increasing your standard of living, and implementing systems to prevent future financial crises. She emphasizes that the skills you develop during tough times, like resourcefulness, budgeting discipline, and creative problem solving, are valuable assets for long-term financial success. One of the most inspiring sections deals with finding opportunities in a crisis. Freedman shows how financial hardship, while difficult, can also create opportunities for positive life changes. Maybe losing your job gives you the push you needed to start your own business or change careers. Maybe downsizing your living situation helps you realize you don't need as much stuff to be happy. Maybe learning to live on less money teaches you financial skills that serve you well when your income recovers. Freedman doesn't romanticize financial crisis, but she shows how to extract value and growth from difficult experiences.
Freedman addresses community building and mutual aid. During tough times, isolation can make everything worse, but building connections with others in similar situations can provide both practical help and emotional support. Freedman explores strategies for finding and creating community support systems, participating in mutual aid networks, and both giving and receiving help in ways that benefit everyone involved. She shows how community connections can provide resources, opportunities, and resilience that individual efforts alone can't achieve. The book includes practical advice about record keeping and documentation during crisis. When you're applying for assistance programs, negotiating with creditors, or dealing with legal issues, you need organized records and documentation. Freedman provides systems for keeping track of important information even when you're overwhelmed and don't have much time or energy for administrative tasks. Good record keeping can help you access resources, protect your rights, and track your progress toward recovery. Freedman tackles tax considerations during financial hardship. Your tax situation gets more complicated when you're dealing with job loss, assistance programs, debt forgiveness, and multiple income sources. Freedman covers basics like how unemployment benefits are taxed, what assistance programs are taxable, and how to handle taxes when you can't afford to pay them. She also covers tax credits and deductions that can provide financial relief during tough times. Let me share the long-term perspective on short-term hardship. Freedman emphasizes that financial crisis, while intensely difficult, is usually temporary. The decisions you make during tough times should be focused on getting through the crisis and positioning yourself for recovery, not on creating perfect long-term solutions. This perspective helps you make pragmatic decisions without getting paralyzed by worry about the future or shame about temporary compromises. Freedman addresses skill building during downtime. If you're unemployed or underemployed, you might have time available that you can use to develop new skills or strengthen existing ones. Freedman covers free and low-cost educational resources, online learning platforms, library programs, and other opportunities to improve your qualifications and increase your future earning potential. She shows how to use tough times productively, even when you can't immediately solve all your financial problems. The book concludes with building resilience for future challenges. Freedman recognizes that life is unpredictable and future financial challenges are likely. She provides strategies for building financial and emotional resilience so that future crises are less devastating and easier to manage. This includes emergency fund strategies, multiple income development, skill diversification, and maintaining the resourceful mindset that helps you adapt to changing circumstances. Throughout the book, Freedman maintains a tone that's both realistic and hopeful. She doesn't minimize the difficulty of financial crisis or promise easy solutions, but she demonstrates through her own experience and countless examples that it's possible to survive and even thrive after devastating financial setbacks. Her approach is particularly valuable because it addresses both the practical and emotional aspects of financial hardship, recognizing that successful crisis management requires both strategic thinking and psychological resilience. As we wrap up, Here's the powerful truth that runs through every page of this book. Tough times don't have to define you or destroy you. They can actually become the foundation for a stronger, more resilient, and more intentional financial life. Freedman shows us that the skills you develop when every dollar counts, the creativity you discover when conventional solutions aren't available, and the strength you build when you're pushed to your limits are all valuable assets that serve you long after the crisis has passed. The key is approaching financial hardship with strategy rather than panic, community rather than isolation, and hope rather than despair. Your current situation is not your final destination, and every small step you take towards stability and recovery is progress worth celebrating. The playbook is in your hands now, and your comeback story starts today.